Hi everyone, Macsen here. Welcome back to my Tyranny Let's Play. We've completed the character creation and conquest part of the game at this point. So we're right to the start of things here. And you can see over here, if I unpause, the path behind us is now blocked. Kairos' magic has sealed the valley. We are about to be greeted by Aurora, who happens to be a member of the disfavored faction. I should probably show off the options before I get into the story part of the game. I'm not going to bombard you with a ton of information straight away, though. I'm going to try and mention things during the course of the story in this first level and tutorial type level of the game. So if we go into options, though, first of all, I'll just show this just so you can see what I've selected. It's not the default things, but most of it is. I will be showing reputation. Which is more spoiler than some people may like, but I do like to know the reputation implications of the storyline. Path of the Damned, of course. I'm not going to have death on. It's very unlikely actually that you would get 10 wounds, to be honest, which is how it's calculated now when your characters die. Yeah, those are the options I'm going to be using. That's the options for combat. On Path of the Damned, combat can take a while. If I have to, I will edit some of it out to speed things along. My options here are pretty similar for controls. They don't really matter, to be honest, to show those to you. I haven't actually used this before, but I've noticed it and I thought I'd turn it on, so we could have some pretty bloody effects potentially when enemies are killed. I don't know if it would be like Fallout 1 and Fallout 2, which some of the Obsidian people that might have made or helped make this game, well, there's bloody effects in that game, put it that way. I think Tim Kaine worked on this game actually, and that's the volume I've got. If it's too loud, let me know and I'll turn it down the settings. Right, let's get unpaused there, and before I actually talk to Aurora, let's click on some things here so we can see desiccated corpses line the road of victory to vengeance. Well, an example of the fate that awaits those who resist Kairos as well. I don't think I'll read all of these, but I will some of them. The ancient Weeping Mother statue pays homage to Queen Lycaris. First of her name, fresh water once flowed from the statue, but when Kairos' forces attacked Vengeance Well in 429, the statue began weeping blood and has done so ever since. If I click that, we can actually see the map, and if I hold M, can see it in more detail. So these icons represent certain things here. That one is of specific interest, and Aurora's there and our character happens to be there. These are the tutorial type messages, which I won't actually read, but if you want to pause and read them so you get more detail about how things work, yeah, be my guest. Should probably read these at some point and maybe refresh my memory, see if I've missed anything, but I have played up until the start of Act 2, so I do know what's going on at this point. This is not a blind Let's Play. Let's get movement done then. So, well, I'm actually not going to talk to Aurora first of all. I'm going to move down here. You can actually scout and move into stealth mode. You can see there's a pop-up for that there. Attacking from stealth is a pretty good idea because you do extra damage, I think. Also, I think it probably mentions in here somewhere that you can find hidden objects. You don't actually have to use stealth to find them always, but I think you might get a bonus of some sort, so it can be a good idea to actually use it. But the problem is it takes a long time to use stealth all the time, so I probably won't use it, because otherwise it would take a bit too long. There's a rope here. You can see there's actually an area of the map that is easily missed. So I'm going to use athletics skill, which I actually have enough of. You can jump down and take a wound. If you take a wound, you actually lose 5 of your skills until you've rested. You have 4 camping supplies there though. I'm going to take off the automatic party AI. You can have the AI do combat for you for to a certain extent. If not a total extent, but I never use that. Let's
will do.
And move down here there. You can actually change some of the settings for your character as well if you aren't happy with them. The colour of your armour, the portrait, your banner, and your voice, but I'm happy. It's actually some boxes and loot. So there's consumables. You can see there if I use that I get extra vitality. For now I'm just going to stick it in the stash. And there's actually a crate which requires subterfuge.
That wasn't so hard.
For you to unlock. So you can already see some of the skills that I've invested in heavily.
I got it.
Which affect the world and also conversations. If you take a look here, there's a talk, and we can examine that. The talk possesses a number of small grooves. It otherwise appears fairly ordinary. Now the other option I can't actually do yet. I need 35 lore, but might plan this out. If I come into here, wow, that was freaking slow then. I don't know what happened there. If I stick on some of my starting equipment, the Fate Binder seal, extra resolve, we can see our character in more detail here. You can hide your helmet as well. Wow, my frame rate is dipping for some reason. Yeah, that should actually give us enough lore. This Commander's Will, the boots that you start with on your character, you actually start with 2 for some reason. That is better than your existing boots, so I'm going to also use those. Okay. And right, so that's my character so far. Let's click on that. If I can pause. I now have 35 lore. If we go into character screen here, you can see it mentions wits and resolve are what contribute to the lore stat. You gain experience for all of these stats as well, so you get better at them during the course of the game. So, but the better you start out in them, the more likely you are to be able to get things straight away and actually start and get an experience. Okay, so that should have given me a new item, a battle-worn torque for extra vitality. Let's stick that on, and that also probably... No, it didn't actually give us lore. I don't know why, actually. Strange. Normally it should do, I think.
Yes.
Let's come up here then and talk to Govano. Or, what's the name? Aurora, I should say. Okay. Frame rate's dipping for some reason. I'm gonna have to figure that out in a second why it's doing that. Conversations, this gives you a bit of detail on them. So there's character requirements it mentions there, and that is the favour or disfavour towards you. Reputation is actually very important. I'll be discussing that in a bit. Aurora, Kairos, the Overlord be praised. When I heard the avalanche, I feared the valley was sealed with you on the other side. The disfavoured warrior claps her gauntlet to her breastplate, the traditional salute of the Legion. We've got a number of options here. You can see it mentions lore and skill increase there as well. Perhaps I didn't get skill increase down there because I hadn't done this first. We were told a Fate Binder was coming, and though our commanders will not say why, it seems obvious. Graven Ash and the Voices of Narat can agree on nothing. Least of all, battle plans to wipe out the Oathbreakers. Now the green text tells you something that you should know about, basically, based on your character's past. And you can see it mentions a bit about them there, this lore in this case. I trust you bring orders from Tunon that will break this deadlock. So we got a few options here. In most circumstances, when there's an option to get extra experience, it's probably a pretty decent idea, especially if you're min-maxing, and I'm going to take that here. So can you hear that hum in the air, that glow around the rocks? The avalanche is Kairos' magic. The Overlord has sealed the valley. Gained 20 lore skill experience. Aurora, your senses see more than mine, good Fate Binder. I do not pretend to know much about such things, but if that was Kairos' magic, and you're here on important business, well, you don't have to be the Archon of Secrets to guess that you're here to proclaim an edict. What does Kairos have in store for the enemy? 10 years of festering plague? An edict of twisted bones? So when it comes to characters, you probably should early on choose whether you want to mainly focus on favour in them or disfavour in them. And in this circumstance, well, I'll talk a bit more about reputation in a bit, I think, but when I can show it off in more detail. I'm going to select this option here. I can bear an edict of Kairos that soldiers will complete their task or die. So we've got a number of options. This edict is leveled against us. Her eyes widen with fear. Her posture slackens, but the Scarlet Chorus prevents us from taking action. Why would the Overlord punish both of... She clears her throat with a sigh. Forgive me, it is not my place to question. We should have conquered the enemy within weeks of arriving in the valley. The delay reflects poorly on all of us. There is another skill option here, so I'm going to pick that one in this circumstance. Yes, well, her eyes shift to the side. There has indeed been a little goodwill between our armies. And you are right, when we act as we do, what choice do we give the Overlord? She takes a deep breath, nodding as she exhales. And you are right, I should not cast blame so freely, especially not when talking to a servant of justice. My apologies. Well, you've travelled a long way, I won't keep you further. I'm sure the Archons will want to hear from you at... Her voice falls silent to her attention, snapping eastward with alarm. Did you hear that? More runners. Third time this week. The Oathbreakers keep trying to send messengers across the mountains to gather help from outside the valley. She points over to the collapsed path by which you arrived, but they're a bit too late for that now. Come, let's show these Oathbreakers a good fight. Okay, so we've got new quests, we've got combat, and this goes into detail about combat here. Which I'll be mentioning all about shortly. For reputation as well, we could have altered that then, and well, I can't really talk about it too much until that comes up, to be honest. So with our character, we are focusing in javelins, of course, or throwing weapons currently. I am going to, well, if you hold over here a character, an opponent, you can actually right click to lock this details down here. It's a very good interface improvement over pillars. These are all of his stats. We can see what he is good at and what his defenses are and what armor types he has here. So usually it's best to try and attack what they're weak at. In this case, he's weakest at dodge. That's his armor over there and down here. So anything that affects dodge would be a good idea. And since we're using thrown weapons, they mainly actually attack dodge. So let's start with heart shot. If you highlight over it as well, you can see the percentage chance to hit. Now my character actually has pretty poor accuracy, but I'm not worried about this. There's a number of ways that I can actually increase the accuracy of my character. Oh, this character also is very strong, so we get extra attack strength. The abilities that we have in the spell cooldown are actually a lot less as well, which is a really nice advantage of quickness. You can see if I highlight on thrown weapons, it needs might and quickness to be very good at that. So that's why I mainly invested in those. All characters within Tyranny make for pretty good mages actually as well. If I click on spell creation, I'm going to be able to use this later on, but I can't yet because I don't have any cores. I could have picked one up during the Conquest, Fireball Inferno, Red Fury, I can't remember what it's actually called, but we can pick up spells in not too long a time, but for now,
will do.
I'm not going to be able to do that. For combat, you can speed up or slow it down. I'll probably mainly be on a slow option, so I can pause more often. If you don't pause during combat, you're going to get wrecked, especially on Path of the Damned. Armor, it mentions there how that affects things. So I've already done some damage to him, and there's an effect on that as well. So he's bleeding, doing raw damage, which doesn't take armor into account. The other options, to be honest, Hobble isn't all that good. You don't get a bonus to damage. The only thing it's good for is slowing opponents down, and since he's already in combat, I don't really need to use that. You can see if I right click on this as well, the base cooldown is 20 seconds, but because we're so quick I can use this frequently. And that's going to be all the case for all my abilities and spells. Right, I'm going to get into close combat now with thrust. The throwing type weapons, javelins, can be used in one-handed combat and as throwing weapons, and they actually have different stats if I highlight that. This one happens to be best at range attacks mainly. So I probably, after I've used this, which does 1.5 times damage against parry, which he's actually stronger at than dodge, I'll probably have to move back to doing range attacks.
Will do.
Attack rate and chance of hitting is only 38%, which is poor, frankly. Okay, so he actually attacked me then, I think. He had a special move which attacked us both. Let's move back a bit. When you get down to about 2 pips, you can start taking wounds. You've got to be a bit careful. I do have potions I can use though. I do get a bit low in health. That one's back. Let's use that.
Okay.
Oh, and he's actually died, probably from a bleeding attack. That's one down. Let's check further along the path for more. We can see there's some mentions of critical hits. The combat is very similar actually to Pillars. There are some there are some changes to how accuracy works and how crits work. I can see the details there. Minimap mentions stuff that I've mentioned already. The interactive objects, let's go down the valley pass and find out about that. Actually, before I do that, let's go and pick up some consumables. Don't plan to use them yet, so I'll stick them in the stash.
Right.
Okay. So it looks like there's a combat going down over there. Let's talk to Aurora first of all. We should be vigilant and deal with Romanian Oathbreakers in the pass. I've been travelling for days. How much longer before I reach the Archons? You're almost to your destination. Once we clear the pass of the enemy, just head south down the foothills. From there, should be a matter of hours to the encampments. This seems like a suicide mission. Why did the Vendrian Guard, or what did the Vendrian Guard hope to accomplish? From what we've learned from the other prisoners, runners are instructed to escape the valley and drum up support for the Oathbreakers' cause elsewhere in the tiers. Aurora shrugs. I don't know who they think will listen to their pleas. We smashed every army, fortress and self-proclaimed ruler these lowborn tiersmen have to offer. Perhaps they think the wild beasts will rally to their side. So you see some reputation options here. For now, I'm actually going to favour the disfavoured faction. So victory has soaked the tiers with fear. I doubt anyone would rally to their hopeless cause. My thoughts exactly. They lost the war years ago. This is little more than the last gasp of a dying people. Carry on. So I can now take a look in reputation and have a bit more look at things in here. So when you get certain or hit certain reputation thresholds, you actually pick up abilities, and this can be a key reason to go after a certain reputation actually if you're min-maxing, and I intend to do so. So some of these will end up being good for my character, more or better for my character than others. And if you have a look in the reputation ones for the disfavored ones here, you can see some of those. Vendrian Guard also have them. The Archons happen to be like the bosses of a faction, and you can see Graven Ash for the disfavored there. If we annoy him, it annoys the faction, and usually vice versa. Right, so we spoke to her. For the glory of Kairos, let's get moving on. So it looks like it's an interactive object here to use here. So there's a boulder. We can squeeze through the gap, or we can use our athletics to move it. I think we'll move it. Okay, that worked out pretty well. We just crushed one of the combatants down there. You can see your skills going up as well when you do things. So it's a you are what you do system, definitely. The more you do something, the better you'll get at it. See a bit of information on field interactions, and it mentions 3 skills which I was very careful to make sure I invest in highly. So we've got 2 characters here attacking another disfavored legionary by the looks of it. That one's barely injured, that one's uninjured. That one doesn't look to have much defensive whatsoever, so I think I'll kill them first of all, or attempt to at least. And it's probably usually a good idea to actually heavily focus on one character and take them out actually as quick as you can do. Right, so combat started here.
Trouble.
Okay, you can see it mentions abilities there. Quickness attribute, which I've really maxed out as much as possible. That speeds that up, as I mentioned previously. Character recovery. So that is down to how much armor you have mainly. So if you have tons of armor, it's going to take longer for your character to recover. It's a good idea to keep this as low as possible if you can, but it's not always possible. There are ways later on that I might be using to lower that. So let's use the thrust ability, I think. The parry is okay. We can see percentage amounts. 85%, that's going to be good thrust against her. Maybe 58 actually. Yeah, at the moment I'm not great at one-handed combat, but that'll change. We did hit her, but I only grazed her because I rolled a 30. 10 to 42 was a graze. Right, so I'm going to move back and use the range attack against her dodge stat. Maybe even better. Maybe a good idea just to use that rather than parry.
Die!
Right, it's Bleeding Heart's back. She's actually dead. Let's use that. Hits this guy. 78% to hit him. Okay, that's a hit. Let's keep on using range attack. He's weaker to parry than weaker to dodge than parry. This guy actually has armor though, so sadly spears use pierce damage, so he has good armor against our attacks. Thrust is back. I think I'll use it, but yeah, I'm not sure. It's probably better than that. Throw. And he's down. Let's talk to this guy then after I've checked out engagement here. So I'll be talking more about it later on. Okay. Don't bother me, go down to the pass. Drastus. Ellipses. Soldier clutches his gut and winces. You can see a hint of entrails between his fingers. You're wounded, and it's not trivial. He laughs through clenched teeth. This but a scratch. I've seen twice as worse 10 times over. He doubles over in pain, gagging and shivering. If you'll let me help. I said I'm fine. The soldier moans and shakes his head. Graven Ash protects. You go on and help the others. And that mentions about Graven Ash's ability to help this favorite. I think he's the Archon of that faction. Okay, there's a corpse there. Let's pick that up. There's actually a javelin there, which may be better than my current one. So let's check out the inventory. If we right click on this and compare, yeah, I think it is. I don't think it's better in ranged attack though, to 0.2. Oh, I said that. Yeah, it's definitely better in melee attack. So I'm going to stick that there, and I'll stick that as a backup weapon if I can. Right. Let's come down here.
On it.
There's Weakened Death, that's a consumable, which I might want to use later on. Several skulls bleached by the sun and picked clean by carrion birds are spiked on roughly home posts. It is the only heraldry Scarlet Chorus needs.
Try and catch me, worm.
Okay, so this is first introduction to one of the companions you have within the game. You're not on your own unless you want to be. Scarlet Fury, and it gives a bit of back detail about what the Scarlet Furies are there. Try and catch me, worm. A young Scarlet Fury weaves around Avenger and Guard attackers, avoiding their weapons. With fluid grace, she nods to acknowledge you. A breathless enemy soldier passes a glance to her countrymen. This one's crazy, too much lead in her water. We should cut our losses and turn back.
Ha! Fate Finder. You're here at last. Care to join me in putting these cowards out of their misery?
She nods to the armed soldiers bearing down on her. That depends. Who are you?
Are you serious? I came to escort you to camp when... Damn it! Kill first, questions later.
So, we have a reputation choice here, basically. And she likewise has skills that you can pick up depending on which one of these, or actually you can get both of them, potentially. I can't remember actually what her skills do currently at the moment. So, which one should I go for? I'm going to go for loyalty, I think. Look like you're handling yourself well enough.
That I am. But I could use someone watching my back.
For the realm of Apex, charge. The Avenger and Guard level their weapons and advance. Okay, so if you take a look at the reputations, we gained reputation there, and that is the ability we can get with her later on. It's actually a combo ability, which I'll be discussing more about shortly. So that one's a ranged one, but it's only one per rest, so it's not super amazing, arguably. She does start with one combo ability though, which is per encounter, which is very good. And that one is more of a melee type one. So you can min-max around this. Definitely. Take it into account when you're picking up reputations. So there are 3 different attackers here. They are pretty much all the same, actually. So first things first, Verse is now a companion of ours. Going to take off her automated attack. I am going to use Bleeding Heart against this guy. With her, she's actually got Red River, 2 melee weapons to start out, but you can use bow with her as well. She has one, which is stances also. I'm going to use a Burning Iron bow attack against this guy, so let's focus our attacks. Okay. Companions, it mentions about her joining the party, and no doubt lots of things I've mentioned already, and not mentioned quite yet. Okay.
Not here.
Right, looks like that guy's throwing javelins at her, and that's going to do a lot of damage, sadly.
Here to make Fred.
Need to get his stance up.
Will do.
Okay, he's casting a spell, Heroism. That's extra armor, I think, so I need to do some damage there quickly, arguably. I could use my thrust attack against him, 60%. Yeah, let's increase that skill level with it by using it. Oh shit. She's actually disengaged, which I didn't want to happen. Now that she has, I better, well, let her do so, I guess. Damage has already happened. Oh, I know why that's happened. It's because she's still on that. I wanted her to be on the bow still. I don't think it matters in terms of in combat if you're being attacked if you have a bow, which is surprising actually. There doesn't seem to be flanking within this game either, which was in Pillars. So I'm gonna, yeah, keep on using the bow against them. She has some consumables here, but I'm not gonna use them. I'll save them for later. Right, so this guy's taking raw damage from the burn effect and from also the bleeding effect. So yeah, he's in a bit of trouble. Okay, she has a skewer. I think I'll keep on firing at this guy though, because he's pretty nasty. Let's change her stance actually. So I want her to have, well, if he dies soon I'm not going to need dodge so much. So the other stance she's got there is accuracy. I think I'll stick that on. That one is do extra damage but at the expense of dodge and parry, which wouldn't be a great idea maybe when she's getting attacked.
Got them in my sights.
Okay. Right, brilliant. He's dead. Right, so this guy's uninjured, that guy's uninjured, so it doesn't really matter which one I attack here. Let's switch back over to... no, I won't switch over because they're weaker to dodge than parry. But this skewer is actually against parry, so I'm going to use that temporarily. This, my main character can... I could use that weapon actually because it's better at long range, so I'll switch over for that in a second. Okay, and start attacking him. Okay, I better watch her health as well. Once she gets a bit low, I better use a healing potion. I don't really want to, but I have to. Did she skewer him? Yes. Okay. She's still using ranged. Got the bleeding heart shot. I always call it bleeding heart for some reason, but it's heart shot. Okay, it's nearly dead. Is dead. Right. Now I'm going to show her combo ability. So this is only in this circumstances only with the leader of the party, your character. So what happens is Blood Soak Stone. Coordinate with Verse to knock your target prone, then follow up with a strong bleeding attack. Verse moves in to execute a leg sweep, knocking the enemy prone. You then follow up the strike by delivering a powerful downward strike, penetrating armor and causing a powerful bleeding effect. So this is very powerful. It's once per encounter, unlike reputation ones, which are once per rest. So all of the companions you can find within the game have these, and can accrue more actually, I believe, via reputation and maybe other ways as well. I'm sure actually. Right, she took some damage. I better use a potion. I don't want to risk her getting wounded. Pain. Right, well, they both used ability. You have to wait until both of them are ready to do it as well. Sometimes it can take some time, but both of these characters are actually quick. So the ability cooldown isn't so much. Right, let's get back to attacking this guy then. Add more things, so use that.
You got it.
Okay.
Got it.
And that's that.
I can tell you didn't spend the conquest in a diplomat's tent.
Okay.
I'm Verse, by the way. But there are more important things to take care of than introductions. Those Vendrian guard we killed didn't come alone.
Okay, so not so fast. First explain what you're doing.
The voices of Nerat told me to intercept you at Edgering Ruins before you busied yourself solving all of the camp's problems. Guess I was too late.
That's the Archon of the course.
You're due for a meeting with the Archons, but we should handle the small matter of this ambush first.
Why the Vendrian Guard attacking
My guess? The Vendrian Guard are testing our strength in battle, learning how we perform before they organize a real offensive. That or they're really, really desperate to get beyond the mountains and couldn't wait until nightfall.
Key characters have voiced overs basically. The actual portraits here can change based on the equipment they're wearing, which is pretty cool. You fight like a storm. What's your role in the army?
A Scarlet Fury, one of the elite killers of our ignoble gang. You'll see more than a few of us around camp, but don't let that fool you. We're a rare breed. Most of the soldiers in the Scarlet Chorus are little more than farmers and children armed with rusted forks. Makes them easier to control. The voices of Nerat called his best fighters to this siege. There must be something important about Vendrian's well, though don't ask me what. The Archon isn't in the habit of spilling secrets.
I'm actually going to dismiss her at this point. This is basically to get some reputation. So
Is that a jest? If you want to wander off on your own and die, so be it. But I was ordered to protect you.
So you can see here we gain average fear.
Have it your way. If you'd rather face the Vendrian Guard with your rear exposed, it's none of my affair.
And this is just to gain some progress towards getting that combo ability. There's some corpses, let's loot those. So there's a helmet, I'll actually give that to her shortly. There's a scroll. Broken helmet, which is useless, I can sell it though. Another potion. Gauntlets and hide, which is used much later on in the game, I believe. Right, let's have a word with her again though. Click on that as well. Having trouble making up your mind to know that Tunon pampers his agents with the best training, but I'm around in case you need a guide. You wouldn't be here if the siege wasn't already a mess. But yeah, I will accept her company. I gained extra loyalty as well for getting her back. Won't regret it. I've spent more time taking orders and giving them to point me in the direction of a fight. I won't second guess you. She nods. So yeah, gained extra loyalty on the progress.
I see you there.
There's formations, so I'm actually going to want to use these. Now, often Verse is actually very good as a subterfuge character. And with many character builds I would use her as that for finding stuff and doing scouting, but my guy is actually better than her. So I shall be using my guy for the most part, I think, for subterfuge and scouting rather than her in this game. What else do I want to do here? Let's make sure the right things are selected. And I think I want dodge, stance,
They
bow. That's the current options. If we take a look in the inventory, let's stick the Scarlet Helm on her here. So you can see it mentions deflection and recovery rates. So that's how long she can before she can attack. Deflection is something I should definitely mention a lot about. With my character, my guy actually isn't great on deflection because I don't have much finesse. I'm actually planning on using armor for this guy though, and armor doesn't usually actually have a lot of deflection. You basically get a base amount of deflection for wearing certain items, and you have 4 items on your character, and this can get up to, well, once you get into positive territory over 10 or more, you get 1% for each armor point. So it's 4 points for 4 armor basically. So you can get a huge amount of extra deflection and it basically turns certain type of hits into lesser hits or misses. So it's actually really useful. But yeah, I'm going to go with the armor option with this guy, which doesn't usually have deflection. But it basically gets rid of straight up damage. You probably should make a choice between the two based on various different things. In this circumstance, this guy would be better for armor. For Verse, she's actually better for deflection, wearing light armor, which gives extra deflection, because you can see she has high finesse. So that's what I'm going to be doing in her case. Okay, right.
won't even get close.
Let's move down
On
here,
it.
I think. And there's another combat coming up. I think I missed a couple of these as well. So it mentions disengagement attack, which we saw briefly. You gotta try and make your enemies do those if you want to damage them, arguably. Although you don't always want that to happen. I mentioned spell scrolls as well. I actually forgot about that. So I think I can maybe do that now. If I right click on this, I can learn it. What else do we have here? We have gauntlets, which provide extra armor. Are they better than these? Yeah, I want armor with this guy. Yeah, I previously mentioned that, haven't I? So let's move that over there. And potion, let's stick that there. Okay, so we're all set up. Sadly we don't have a core yet. We're here for Macsen for that scroll. I can use that coming up later on in this level. Let's take a trip down here. We're getting some extra skills for grabbing that scroll.
Will do.
Okay, so we've got more of the Vendrian Guard. Eyes forward, no looking back. The Vendrian Guard warrior roars with his falx. It's a type of weapon. Held high, his words largely lost over the din of combat. Gain favor. You, as his attention lands on you, a double take of recognition comes over the man's face. The Peacebinder from the war. So, as you can see here, this is a conquest decision. This is what I did in Apex, so I'm getting some favor from it. If you come to once again talk peace, it seems you're too late. Gain major favor. Drop your weapon, and perhaps we could settle this without bloodshed or as no escape for oathbreakers. In this circumstance, I'm actually going to want to get favor. In fact, for the main factions at the moment, I want favor with all of them. I think the reputation, the abilities they unlock in this circumstance for my character, I think they're slightly better, so that's why I'm favouring them. And it also means I can have a better, if I do want to go towards a certain faction later on, I have more choice perhaps then over who I want to go with, since most of them should be happy with me. We knew that violating the surrender meant an end to what little mercy and goodwill Kairos' forces have wherever will show us. Now there's no turning back. He shakes his head with a frown. I know you tried to do right by us in the past, but now you're between us and a way out. Nothing personal. Fatebinder, did I hear that correctly? Maybe you misunderstand why we're here. As he signals his men to charge, the sound of chanting rises from the south, drawing his attention. Scarlet Chorus, reinforcements, hurry! You can actually talk with Verse a lot more, and I will be doing that later on. But I wanted to get through things first. Run down the Oathbreakers, let none escape. From the red mob of reinforcements from the south, a red blood chanter emerges at the head of the rabble. The ornamental crest of her staff pulsing with crimson tones. Signing sigils of magic and wordlessly moving her mouth, the blood chanter scribes a series of spells into the air. A red glow surrounds the Vendrian Guard warriors as the chanter's magic worms its way into their minds, blinding them with rage. Hold position, all of you. You there, keep to the path. The warrior gestures along a canyon trail, but his soldiers turn their attention to the Scarlet Chorus, roaring challenges. No, do not engage them. We need to run. His orders falling on deaf ears. The warrior reluctantly readies his weapon. Okay, so we got combat. Now, Tarkos Deimos is actually pretty decent, at least compared to his compatriots. See, they're pretty weak at dodge. This guy has armor. Yeah, it's better overall. So, with my main guy, who am I going to go after? I think I should take out these guys first. I'm probably going to... Yeah, let's use that because it's got a shield. Let's use the heart shot first of all against him. And Verse can use her burning ion against him as well.
Got it.
Okay. Companion combos it mentions there. I've already used one of those and show them off a bit. Okay. Gonna be probably using one of them coming up. Okay, already both of those fired at me and I took quite a bit of damage. This guy's a bit vulnerable early on until I pick up some traits with him, but it's Well, I'll show you some of my plan actually now. So if we come into the talent screen here, you can see there's different talents for different companions. What I'm planning on doing with this guy is picking up evasive, and I can actually pick this up on the next level. So you use dodge instead of parry for melee attacks when people target you. And if we come in here, you can see that my dodge amount is better than my parry amount, so that would be a very good idea. And there's ways I can increase this massively to make my character very hard to hit. So you may think I might be quite vulnerable because I don't have much armor, deflection and an awful lot of health, but I should be able to do things about that later on. This character is pretty much all planned out, certainly the early levels. Okay, so that guy attacked pretty hard then. Let's try and finish him off though before attacking someone else. I'm gonna keep on attacking him. I could hobble, but staying there is no point, I think, really. I guess I could, it won't make a difference if he...
Will do.
So she actually... Oh, she's burning to death, I might not have to shoot her. Okay, did I get wounded then? No, luckily. But I'm getting low on health, only on 2 pips. Let's use a healing potion. Now, the consumables act straight away, but there's a cooldown effect for these, but I think because we're quick, it might recover a bit quicker with us still. Should I... I think I will skewer this guy, actually. Let's get her down there.
You got it.
Let's use that on him. He's used Bastion, which gives him extra armor, so that's a bit of a pain. It's going to be harder to get through his armor in a bit. Okay. So I didn't do an awful lot of damage then, but my character needs a few levels basically. Where's he off to? Right, he's going down there somewhere. I'm going to skewer this guy then if he's ignoring me. And I'll thrust that guy. Stick a hole up his ass.
I'm on it.
Okay. Right, let's use there. Oops. Right, I think it's a good option here for a combo attack. So let's do this. Now sometimes this can cause disengagement, which is a real pain. Maybe it's a bit bug, I'm not sure. Let's see if it happens. Yeah, he disengaged there. So that caused me unnecessary damage. And he's run off now actually, so that didn't work out too well at all. Let's attack that there and do that there. I think we're going to have to use another potion.
I got
Use
it.
that disengagement attack, Sally. Right, hopefully my chorus allies will help out against that guy coming up in a second. Oh, he's coming back now. Right, so that's not good actually. He's my guy's a bit damaged, isn't he? I'm gonna get him out of trouble. Right, let's do that then. Force engagement. Use that there. And
Right.
after the heart shot, I'll probably try that combo attack again.
Damn thing!
Right, her weapons aren't very effective by the looks of it against this guy, which is a problem.
Couldn't pierce cloth.
She's mentioning that. Right, let's do Blood Silk Stone. Let's try this again.
On my command.
Right, this guy's coming back, sadly. Right, we're waiting on my main guy here now. Verse is ready. Let's use that as well before I forget.
Ready?
Okay, it didn't work very well then, to be honest. I did 26 crushing damage, which is pretty good. He doesn't have much crush armor, so it works very well actually against him. I'm gonna burn this guy, and he's still attacking her, I think, which is good. Thrust that guy as well. Let's take him down and then attack him again.
Count on it.
He's using triple throw, which could cause me issues. It's probably pretty good. Ouch. Oh, that's cancelled for some reason. I have to use another healing potion.
Will do.
Oh, he attacked down there. Okay, I got lucky. If you actually highlight on them, you can see who they're targeting, so I should have looked. Okay.
Get back! Back here!
That guy disengaged, and he's gonna burn to death. You know what? Switch. I'll keep the bow actually, she's better with the bow against him because he has good dodge.
For the queen!
And have bleeding attack. Oh, that's a shame. I think I'll attack him with one attack. Yeah, brilliant. And now I'll bleed attack there. And combos run out. So it's got to be back for a what? Oh, it's one per encounter, so yeah, I can't use it here. She's got skewer back. Let's use that. So this is a real benefit of him being quick because I get all these abilities powerful back straight away. Nearly.
Yes.
Actually leveled up already. Brilliant.
Then every day.
Okay. Oh, stopped attacking for some reason. Just thrust. And
Right.
when you level up, actually you get bonuses, endurance, and your health comes back, so it's pretty useful during the middle of combat. And that looks like it for combat here. Come quick, we have a situation on a cliffside. They have the commander.